It is very common to hear offensive, aggressive, and pejorative comments not only in the street, but also at school, work, or any other place we go. With the internet and social networks, such comments have become much more common and frequent. But do you know what it is and how to identify hate speech? Nigerian journalist and author Chido Onumah, coordinator of the African Center for Media and Information Literacy, helps us to understand it.
Hate speech is any expression that seeks to incite, promote, or justify ethnic, religious, cultural, racial, or other forms of hatred against the other, people who are not like us or share our perspectives or worldviews. Discrimination, on the other hand, can be defined as intolerance and hostility towards others we assume are different or foreign, including minorities and migrants.
Sophie Sandberg, gender and social justice activist, founder of Catcalls of NYC, a movement created to give a voice to victims of sexual harassment on the streets of cities around the world, her definition of hate speech.
Hate speech is comments that are made towards people with marginalized identities. So hate speech is a form of discrimination. It's hateful things that are said to people who are marginalized for any reason, whether it be gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, ability, any type of identity that can be discriminated against.
So, have you ever heard anything hateful or discriminative? Or have you ever read this kind of content on the internet? You probably have already read or heard or even watched hateful comments, discussions, and violent content on your social media. But why has it become so frequent? Sophie Sandberg thinks that
I think the reason why hate speech and discrimination is so common in digital media is because people aren't saying things face to face with another person. So the anonymity of social media and digital media allows people to be more hateful because they're not face to face with another person. They're able to say hateful things online without having their face attached to it.
hate speech, besides inciting violence, as we also learned on episode 1 from the story of Sudan, where people were becoming more violent as a result of what they read on the internet, can also spread a lot of lies. Fake news may cause a lot of harm, as we have already learned in the module on mis- and disinformation, remember? This is why we must always seek the truth. Are you ready to become a truth seeker? By the way, why is it so important to become a truth seeker? For journalist Chido Onumah,
it's important to be a truth seeker because there are many risks and opportunities associated with the internet and social media. Being a truth seeker will help us become responsible and informed consumers and transmitters of information and opinion.
And Sophie adds,
I think for social justice movements and fighting for what's right, it's really important to be a truth seeker because so many people who are marginalized have stories that are truthful but that aren't heard in mainstream media, and these stories may not be believed or listened to. So I think for movements and for things like social justice, it's really important to be a truth seeker because you can share stories that are often unheard and show people the truth behind these stories.
the pursuit for the truth is a powerful weapon, not only to avoid the spread of false news, but also to make us more aware of the world in which we live. And we have to keep in mind that most hate speech is based on disinformation. Again, we have to remember all the damage caused by disinformation that we have learned in one of the previous modules of the course. Listen to what author Onumah has to say.
Misinformation can breed distrust, division, and intolerance because the news media and the internet provide a window to the rest of the world. They provide tremendous opportunities but also carry some risk, because many people do not have the capacity to navigate the news media and the internet with confidence and more capably address misinformation or bias about their own or other religious communities and beliefs. It is easy to create distrust, division, and intolerance.
Sophie Sandberg agrees with the Nigerian journalist.
I think misinformation can lead to division and intolerance because particularly people who are marginalized might not have their stories believed. I think there's a lot of misinformation around marginalized groups that can lead to discrimination and hate speech. So I think it's all connected. I think hate speech and discrimination can stem from misinformation about marginalized groups.
Despite hate speech and other not so good practices on social media, we can be the ones who spread information that helps a lot of people create interesting things and talk about useful topics. To learn more about this, don't miss the modules on diversity and representation in information, media, and digital content, and the module on social media and authorship.
We hope this episode has ignited your interest. Become media and information literate anytime, anywhere, even while relaxing. Download more episodes of this podcast series from our website. Find out more about how UNESCO works with governments, individuals, and communities to foster media and information literacy by visiting our website. Download our many resources and get involved in our programs to help bring key media and information literacy competencies to life. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.